Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast. Now, in our 100th season, looking into the exciting happenings of Ipswich Town Football Club. My name is Benjamin Bloom, and you are tuned into the flagship show, available each and every week on video and or audio. So, for a sometimes irreverent but always informative hour of football conversation, make your Monday a Blue Monday. Craig Finbow. He hates it, Dave. He laughs along, but he knows if he doesn't laugh along, I'll just keep doing it.
Yeah.
How are you, Craig? Sorry.
I'm okay, thank you very much. Yeah, had a pleasant day, just wandering around in the sunshine before it started to rain. Yeah, went walking on the seafront and saw a woman having a swim, which was nice.
Oh,
bit chilly, I'd imagine, but she seemed to be enjoying herself.
Wow. It's not against COVID regulations. By the way, I do know how to pronounce Craig's surname. I just do it to annoy him because I'm very juvenile and an awful person. Someone who is not an awful person is David Diamond.
Hello, Ben. Hello, Craig. Good to see you, mate. What a day it's been. What I was just saying before we came in here, what a day for sport. There was
clearly
cricket.
told you not to talk about golf and cricket.
Wait,
you're going to do it anyway every time.
Let me finish. There was cricket. There's wonderful golf on now. And a Rabona by Lamella in the Spurs game. I mean, brilliant. I think it was even some rugby going on as well, but talk about that. But
2 minutes in, Diamond is talking about, let's take the rat off Boner then, golf and cricket and all sorts. But there's only one place we need to start, and that is referee Drysdale versus Alan Judge, because a little bit more on this. After the... I mean, we kind of looked at this in the aftermath of the Northampton game in the live stream, and it was then all of a sudden the clip went viral because everyone thought it was funny to laugh at an Ipswich player having the referee square up to him. But we saw the print off, and these things are, like you said, Craig, in our WhatsApp group. These things are very strange when you see them in writing. I remember studying the Kiko Casilla, Jonathan Lecco one, and to see the language just written down in a legal document with no holds barred is very interesting. So, Craig, referee Drysdale claims Alan Judge said, are you going to manually bleep me, Dave? See if you can manually bleep me.
Can't say it. Go on.
What did you say, Ben?
Right. It's an effing penalty, you cheating bald. Do the bleep noise. Beep. Thank you. It's only got one syllable and 4 letters and begins with C and ends in unt. So. You're a effing cheating.
Beep.
You're a bit slow on the uptake on this, Dave, with the beep. And are you going to blame internet lag?
I am. It's a delay. It's a delay between here and Buckinghamshire.
Now, Craig, because every day of my life I visit the FA website to read Law 12, here's what Law 12 says. Using offensive, insulting or abusive language and or gestures is a red card offence. So if Mr. Drysdale did hear such things, I'm not entirely sure why he didn't produce a red card for Alan Judge. But here's Alan Judge's rebuttal, Craig. I'll admit using the F word. I said to him, and I'm not going to do an Irish accent.
God, yes, let's upset everybody, shall we? While we're here, go on, have a go.
I normally do, Craig. Come on. You've got to be effing joking me. And I said that a couple of times. I never used the C word. I don't use that word. And I didn't call him a cheat. Our media team have got some audio and it backs me up. Some people have said I should have come out straight away and explained what I said, but I didn't want to do that. I was trying to help Darren. I said the matter was finished, and it was. But I have to make it clear now that I totally dispute what has been said by the referee. First of all, Craig, are you Team Drysdale or Team Judge? Because you've not often been Team Judge this season. Let's be honest, have you, Craig? Come on.
No, I haven't. No, but as like everyone else, really, turn of the year, we've been fully aboard the Team Judge bus, haven't we? I think.
And what is your view on this, and how do you think this is going to play out?
Well, I think had he given the penalty, which it was in the first instance, then none of this would have happened, would it? It was a pretty well, not an obvious penalty, but he did seem to take his legs away from him. But yeah, as you say, if Drysdale had heard everything that he subsequently put in his statement, then why was he waving a yellow card around at someone who we didn't particularly know at the time, whether it was Downs or whether it was Judge that was getting the yellow? He was just all flustered, wasn't he? The ref. He was marking the white line in the penalty area for the free kick to go against Judge. So yeah, he just seemed to be a bit all over the place. But to my eyes, there are a dozen people around him, so they must know what was or wasn't said, mustn't they? Taking the two parties apart for one instance, then talk to the opposition players. I say there was at least 6, 7, 8 of those, because they were having to drag the referee back from Alan Judge.
Dave, is this another Jonathan Lecco and Kiko Casilla where two people know what was said? One is saying one thing, one is saying the other. We will never know.
Yeah, and let's keep it that way. I mean, he's got a full match ban, has he? But
he served it retrospectively. Right.
Retrospectively suspended type full match ban, of which he served 2 or 3 games already, and apparently they get paid by the game, so they get, they're not, it's not as if they're on a salary retainer type thing. They get paid by the game, so looks like he's been sort of reasonably punished already. So what's the point in taking it further? I mean, I don't see a point at all, really. Only the besmirching of Judge's good name. I can throw. I use that all the time, actually. Of Judge's good name. So,
and I've just got you bleeping my C words, and you coming up with besmirching my good name.
So look, I don't know. Will it go any further? Hopefully not. Just let it go now. But yeah, it's obviously down to Judge now, isn't it? If he's going to take it further and question and have it out with him.
Absolutely, Dave. I think there's a bit of a sense now that the Paul Cook hire happened at quite an opportune moment, because in the last 24 hours, I mean, we can go back even to Friday. Chris Wilder was, you never know with the old housing market chain with managers how things move along, how it all falls. But Kenny Jackett fired by Pompey today. Aitor Karanka has been fired, but it's not been announced yet, allegedly. Do you think Pompey or Birmingham might have been chatting to Paul Cook if he'd been available?
I think he certainly probably would have done. Certainly Portsmouth, maybe. Jackett, what was he? 1 win. He stands had a great run, have they? 1 win in 7, I think. Obviously, lost to Salford yesterday in the Pizza Cup, but I guess that really wasn't the final straw. The Pizza Cup. Papa John's trophy. So that wasn't. That wasn't the sole reason for it. 1-1 in 7, real drop off in full. And I think certainly it was almost got to a McCarthy Lambert type thing with their fans. I think the fans certainly wanted him out. So, and usual suspects are there again, aren't they? Cowleys are in the frame. I think they're odds on, but they're fairly short odds. I think. I saw Lee Bowyer's name in there. Usual suspect. But I'd have thought, certainly Cook. I think he's. We've got him in. Our timing was fairly impeccable, really, because certainly he would have been up for those jobs. I would have thought, perhaps not Sheffield United, but anyway, certainly those jobs.
Yeah, but we can all sit here, Craig, and go, right, okay. So Allardyce is going to go at the end of the season, and Wilder's going to go to West Brom, and then you do the maths afterwards. Craig, is this a rare occurrence of Ipswich Town being in the right place at the right time after 15 years of being in the kind of the wrong place at varying different states of time?
Well, yeah, but arguably we were still 6 months late in appointing him, weren't we? Albeit we got it done before before the other clubs were in the same boat as we were. But it would have been nice to have had him in position.
Would he not, Craig? Would he not have been more inclined to say no and wait for a championship job 6 months ago, though, just to play devil's advocate?
Yeah, possibly, but the two that did come up he didn't really fancy, did he? The short-term ones at Wednesday and Cardiff. So you can hang around for forever and a day, can't you? Waiting for the perfect opportunity to come up. And as he said himself in one of his very, very uplifting, upbeat press conferences, I thought of "You Are the Wind Beneath My Wings" as you
Did you want me to sing that while you do this? But no, you carry on.
Yeah, no. But he sort of said that it was the owner that attracted him. Believe it or not, everybody. But it's the owner side of things, which I suppose you can understand, can't you, from a manager's perspective? And to be fair, pretty much every manager that has joined has said the same thing, that they're left to their own devices and are given too much time at the end of their tenure to turn it around.
Pet Shop Boys, Craig, left to my own devices. I
love that record. Yeah, I done 12-inch back in the day.
Carry on, Dave.
Yeah, sorry, no, I was just coming along. I was just coming along to that.
Left
you could be Chris. I've forgotten about
devices.
that one.
After hearing you sing, Dave, you could be Chris Lowe, mate, I think.
Beautiful. Idris El Mazouni, Craig, is going to be out for the season now. He's on loan at Grimsby with dear old Paul Hurst. He's had 9 starts. We've been fans of him on the podcast. I mean, I dare say there's a small amount of things haven't been great, and any little bright spark creative player we've been optimistic about. So he's going to come back. Either, I don't know whether he'll do his rehab or I'm speculating there, but he'll certainly be around through the summer. He's going to be 21 in September. Where's El Mazouni going? Is this a short setback, or where do you see him fitting in after this injury?
That'd be interesting to see, actually, won't it? Because albeit he's had 2 season-ending injuries in the last 2 seasons, hasn't he, at Cambridge and Grimsby? But if it gives him a chance to get back and get under Paul Cook's nose for pre-season and heading into the new season, you would think that he's a sort of player that Paul Cook's been talking about. He wants attacking front foot, attacking midfielders, wide players. If you, I appreciate Dobra hasn't been given much of a look in, but I'm just wondering whether that's because he's got such a massive squad. He's just trying to work with a limited, condensed squad just for the rest of this season. But I think it will give all those guys, the Dobras and Il Mazounis, a chance in the pre-season just to show that, look, you don't need to go out and buy anyone. You've got it under the roof.
Dave, he likes a more sort of physical number 10, Cook, doesn't he? But you like El Mazouni, don't you? What are your thoughts on what Craig had to say?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a good player. Technically good player. I thought he would have been given a bit more. I know Joe was disappointed with that. I thought he'd have been given a bit more of a chance under the previous manager. But yeah, no, certainly one for the future. And as Craig said, just a shame because exactly the same pretty much happened exactly the same weekend last week. Certainly last season, certainly it was March. So yeah, it's been just a bit unfortunate there. But yeah, certainly one to keep and one I can only see developing really.
Dave, Craig's best friend in the whole world, Jason Dazelle, who we had a wonderful chat on the Blue Monday podcast with. When was that, Craig? About 8 weeks ago? I can't remember.
I can't remember. Yeah,
good chat with Jason Dazelle. Anyway, he's working with the under 18s. He's not the manager per se, but Dave, they've won 8 in the last 9. And once again, the academy punching its weight very well in representative competition.
Yeah, I think they beat Watford, was it yesterday, I believe? Yeah, it's him and Adam Ate, I think, are the joint coaches of the 18s. Yeah, great to see. I mean, I assume there's kids still in there playing. Like I assume I didn't see who was in the team yesterday, but I assume people like Gibbs is there still, and one or two others.
To Joe Fairs on.
But yeah, I'm very difficult. Yeah. Joe's probably shouting at me. He's far too old, mate. And Baggett and players like that who have appeared in the first team or on the fringes of the squad for the the Football League, the Papa John's Trophy game. So yes, looking very promising again.
Your thoughts, Craig? We seem to have this fabled academy that's good. I suppose there's evidence of that. This season, you still feel it's important thing that we can hang our hat on as a club?
Yeah, well, it is as long as they make the progression through to the first team. That's the whole point of it, isn't it? Or they provide enough funding if they get released or get snapped up elsewhere to keep it as a going concern. I know there are a few points clear at the top of the league now. I don't know the category of the academies at Charlton. I think we're above Millwall. I presume
Watford should be good, shouldn't it?
Yeah, so say Watford. I
so.
presume Watford will be a Category 1.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's absolutely fantastic. When this takeover happens, which you all know is going to happen pretty much guaranteed, nailed on.
Craig, I found
weeks.
this in the StreamYard assets. Say takeover, and I'll press a button. Go on.
Takeover. Ah.
It's pathetic.
Yeah.
I'm blaming Richard Woodward for that one. There's loads of nonsense I can do here. If you're listening on podcast, go and subscribe on YouTube to see a silly American flag stand. Sorry, Craig, you were making a sensible point that I ruined with juvenile humour once again.
I just don't know whether remains to be seen whether they see it as much of a benefit. If I say it's not, creating its own worth, if you like, if it's not producing the finance to keep itself self-fulfilling, if you see what I mean.
No, of course. Right, off we go to Plymouth, guys. Ipswich at home to Plymouth this past weekend with the highly rated Lowe as manager and the highly rated Jeffcott, who seems to score every week when I'm doing my Saturday super streams, which you can catch up with on the Benjamin Bloom football channel if I'm allowed to pimp my other wares on here. And David, it is the return of Caden Jackson, Alan Judge and Troy Parrott, and we'll talk about later a young central midfielder who's returning to the bench in this game. Dave, let me just press all the wrong buttons and I will attempt to get the team up for you on the screen. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see it. And there we go. Lovely. So Holly in goal, Chambers and Kenlock, the fullbacks, Wilson and Enciala, the centre-backs, Dazelle and Downs, the double pivot, Judge left, Edwards right, Parrott 10, Jackson up front. Headline news, though, as I said, Dave, the return of Jackson, Parrott back in, and Alan Judge. Maybe you want to start with the return of Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, I guess unfortunately at the expense of Norwood, of James Norwood, who appears to have picked up a back injury, so we understand. Yeah, so no surprise really to see him back with Norwood being out, as you said. Dazelle and Downs, central two in there in the middle. Edwards, Parrott, Judge, back four, which has been okay. Gillingham aside to a degree last week has been pretty solid for the last few games. That sort of picked itself really. So yeah, I quite like the look of that personally.
Craig?
Yeah, I think with Jackson up front, it was probably wise to have Parrott behind him rather than a more midfieldy type number 10, just to get a bit of support up to Jackson, who's not renowned for holding the ball up. So you can get someone a bit closer to him to feed balls into channels for him. Then yeah, all good with that. To be fair, as day to day, just another little niggle for Norwood.
Bench, Cornell, Ward, Skews, Bishop, Lancaster, Bennett and Drynan. For Plymouth, a couple of familiar names. As I said, manager Ryan Lowe is one we've heard a lot about. Cooper in goal, Aimson, Opoku and Watts back three, Edwards and Lewis wingbacks. Connor Grant, who's a familiar name. Lewis McLeod, we've seen in the Championship with Brentford. Kamara and Mayer and Ennis up top. And Dave, it's a very, very good start in this one. We have in the team in rain, Judge going very close from a free kick. And Troy Parrott, with international representation already to his name, scores his first senior goal in, was it 4 minutes?
Yeah, straight. I mean, Plymouth started the game just dreadfully. Whether because they were playing against the driving rain or not, I mean, it's horrific. Sort of was here, sort of hail and stuff like that. But I mean, some of their passing for the first, or even beyond the goal we're going to describe, probably for the first 15 minutes, it was just comical, really. And yeah, I mean, it was just, I think Chambers played a ball down our right, and I think it was sort of headed, sort of half cleared. Then I think Edwards won a good header. Jackson couldn't quite control
just
it.
into the channel, Dave. There's not that
much
danger,
it was.
It
fell to the left. It fell to the left wing back, Lewis, who just had a horrific start to the game. I mean,
he was awful, wasn't he?
Oh, it just literally. I mean, every ball he played either went out of play or he just gave it away. And he just didn't really look, did he? Just tried to pass the ball square. He's outside the box, sort of full back position, left back position. Just tried to pass the ball inside for the keeper to clear. And it's an obvious one, really. I think even Brennan Woolley described it on the commentary. It was such an obvious one. And Parrott was just, didn't really have to be that alert, sort of just lurking there, really. Picked it up about 8 yards out, and good finish, really, because he could have snatched at it or panicked, but just knocked it to one side of the keeper and just sort of slammed it in. So an ideal start, really, but a bit of a gift. But good to see, hard working young player. Good to see him get his first. I think it was his first professional goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, indeed. Craig, the start symptomatic. I've been watching Paul Cook do interviews like this all week. He can't stand still, and he's just a ball of energy, isn't he? And was the start of the game symptomatic of perhaps what Cook's? He keeps saying, I can't do his Scouse accent. We want to have more clean sheets. We want to have more passes. Want more crosses into the box. More shots. Was this the kind of a hyperactivity in a good way in terms of the start of the game?
God, I hope so. I hope he can start getting 90-minute performances like that rather than 15 or 20. But no, let's say the first, as Dave said, Plymouth were bloody abject, weren't they, for the first 20 minutes of the game? And I appreciate, we were pushing on and we had loads of energy in the final third and we were hassling them. But even when they weren't being hassled, there were so many unforced errors. As Dave, they were just kicking the ball out of play and
really weird.
Not passing it straight to us. They were just awful. But
to be fair, Craig, I think at that stage we were popping it about though pretty well, weren't we? With intensity and stuff. We were actually. We did start the game really well.
Yeah, we did. And to be fair to Parrott, if you watch the replay of the goal, he actually anticipates the pass before it's even been made. He runs from quite a long way away once he notices what the hell's going on to anticipate the back pass. And I think he did really well to sort of anticipate it, as I say, and nick it ahead of the goalkeeper. But yeah, we were really, really impressive for the first 20 minutes or so of that match. There, we were all over them, and as we know, that we just don't have an awful lot of goals in the team, and we didn't really create that many chances, despite our pressure and being on top for that period of time. And again, actually, when you're going for the team and you were talking about the subs bench, I think I might mention on the WhatsApp is that bench wasn't exactly full of goals either. So had we not scored in the first half and it was 0-0 or something going to the second half, Paul Cook could probably look around and beside him and think, "Oh bloody hell, I can't make too many changes to add an influx of goals into the team from that respect." So I think that would be something he will definitely be looking to resolve, is just the lack of goals, and maybe that final ball, that final cross isn't maybe got the most quality on it at the moment, I don't think.
Dave, there's another chance for Jackson, an injury to Flynn Downs as well. Just talk to me about the rest of the half. Why? Talk about the level. Did it not sustain through? And
I think
why?
it did. I think Downs' injury was a turning point. I think he was probably having his best game. Maybe even been his best game of the season. He was everywhere and really, winning tackles, properly winning tackles, and him and Dizelle were like the double pivot, were playing really well together. And I don't think it's any coincidence that Cook alluded to that after the game, partnered, good old Harry from Bath's partnership. Well, he was,
covalent bonds, yeah.
Yeah, and you could see it, you could see it between the two. So that took a bit of energy out of us, I think. But yeah, Jackson had a really good chance one-on-one. I think Wilson lofted it forward and he sort of got a bit of a break of the ball and he's one-on-one with a keeper. All right, it was wasn't at his feet, it was sort of bouncy and he tried to lift it over him and didn't. Then Parrott had a good chance. I think that was the last bit of Downs' action. Downs played some quite good interplay, got it to Parrott. It was a bit unlucky actually, did everything right, good block by the defender. And then he picked up this sword. It seems sort of fairly innocuous, but clearly it's a hamstring. And as I said on the WhatsApp, the hamstring curse strikes again seemingly. And again, you just don't know with those. He's young, isn't he? But if it's they grade them, don't know if it's a serious one. Like I think it goes grade 1 and up.
Is it torn?
I don't know that this we don't know. Be scanned when I don't think we know that yet. But if it is like a grade 1 tear, then that's
the same as
that's 6 weeks. That's a month, 6 weeks.
El Mazzuni was a 3, wasn't it?
Yeah, it could be. I'm not sure. I think it may go the other way. How it's graded, I don't know. I wasn't sure, but yeah, if you're right, if it's on a par with what El Mazzuni's done, then he's done probably. That's 6 weeks probably, which is a shame because him and Dizelle were really, really looking good in there. But it was not. And then I think. Plymouth. Yes, we spoke about Lowe being coaching, good coach and stuff. Plymouth certainly changed their shape, and probably possession-wise for the rest of the half, pretty much dominated possession. We went to our shell a bit, I'd say, but didn't really create anything. That was not that sort of didn't really get behind us or create. A couple of balls splashed across the box, but nothing in it really. And probably half time 1-0, probably fair because of our complete domination of the first 15-20 minutes, probably.
What's your thoughts, Craig? First half as a whole?
Yeah, pretty much that. So we started off like a house on fire. First 20, I think that Downs injury may have just like opened up our right hand side, their left hand side. I think he was coming across, wasn't he, a lot and covering and sort of blocking off that channel. And as soon as he was off there and Bishop come on, I don't think Bishop did too much for the whole match when he came on, did he? In his place. But obviously you missed that energy and nous of getting out wide and closing things off. And I think Mayer had a bit of joy, didn't he, in the last 15-20 minutes of the half down that side in front of
so did the fullback who did have a Mayer the first 15. that Lewis started to get on the ball and hit a couple of really good crosses, in there from the left.
Into the second half then, Craig, and we're going to talk about two of our favourite things here. You can talk about Alan Judge and then the return of Cole Skuse. So Judge should have put us 2-0 up, really, shouldn't he, with the right foot arriving onto Jackson's cross. And then, David will laugh about this because he and I over the podcast have done this to death. Skuse is done. We need Skuse. No, Skuse is done. No, we definitely need Skuse. No, Skuse is done now. No, we need. I think we're back in we need Skuse territory now, aren't we? But talk to me about Judge and the return of Skuse, Craig, and then Dave, you can have your say on that.
Yeah, well, as you say, that Judge chance, it was Andre Dazelle used his right leg swinger.
And
to be fair, it was a lovely ball. He curled it beautifully down the right hand side. And Jackson broke in, and as Jackson does actually, when he breaks into those channels, whether it be left or right, he does very, very often get his head up and actually pick out a decent ball and a decent cross, which he did. He avoided Parrott, who was being marked by if not two of their players, and Judge was bombing in like a good attacking midfielder should, just breaking into the box. It's in and around the penalty spot, laid on the plate, and he just doesn't seem to read the. Yeah, he sort of slips. He doesn't seem to read the ball properly, does he? It's, he as soon as
it's
he
a good ball though, Craig.
Yeah, it's beautiful ball. Yeah, I don't know. You couldn't really see if it did bobble, but Judge looked back at the penalty spot as you had to say, "God, bloody hit a bobble! I had to shin it wide." But he saw it.
That
he saw it
cheating penalty spot. Hey?
Yeah, exactly. But no, he saw it all the way. He should have crossed, at least hit the target. And had that gone in the beginning of the second half, that would have been game over.
Much more comfortable. Yeah, he could have almost. He could have almost. It was right to hit it first time. He could have almost taken a touch there, probably, and got it out of his feet. But he just got it all wrong.
Yeah,
and then the return of Cole Skuse, Craig.
Yeah, well, I think you're saying where Skuse is gone. Oh, we need Cole Skuse. Skuse is gone. Oh, we need Cole Skuse. Flynn Downs is walking off holding his hamstring. Oh, we need Cole Skuse. I think it's probably perfect timing in that respect. Is that if Downs is out for 2 weeks, if he's out for 2 months, if we can get Skuse up and fit and just a bit more match fit and a bit sharper, then he'll be worth his weight. Especially with all these away games coming up, I think we've got a lot more away games than we have home games where we may need to just be a little bit tighter in the middle of midfield, or maybe hold on and see a game out. He'll be ideally suited. There was a couple of times in the match actually. He looked rusty, didn't he, poor old guy? But obviously he will be. He hasn't played for God knows how long. But there was still times where he was in the right place at the right time and just got a toe in. And if being coached by Cook and Roberts can get him just to get the ball and make that challenge, make that interception, and then get it forward a little bit sooner than he maybe has done previously, then I can see it's only going to be a benefit for the last couple of months of the season, I think.
So, David, if I'm going to put a positive spin on this, since Mick and his mid-low block and everyone defending together, and then I don't know what Hurst was asking him to do, and then Lambert had him trying to be Pirlo or something, didn't he? And everything since. Is there an argument, Dave, that what we know about Paul Cook is he wants dynamicism? I can't even say the damn word. From the fullbacks, he wants the midfield to sit. Is this now arguably, as Craig said, a better fit 4 skews that could hide any possible deficiencies he may or may not have and play to his strengths.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
I'm talking, of course, Dave, in terms of just being asked to.
No, of course, I could suit him really well. Although I did hear a strong rumour the other day that that there could be another out of contract signing on the way, and we could have the Scugless Axis back again. And frankly, I'd be terribly disappointed if it wasn't best podcast ratings ever. Well, the Scugless midfield Axis were in situ.
Well, but I think that Luke Hyams retired now because we got all three of them in
could have had all
game.
three. Couldn't we?
I saw JD on a Leeds podcast the other day, looking resplendent as ever. But yeah.
No, it's yes.
It's League One. Perhaps tactically, it's a better fit.
Easily, I mean, I thought he was playing some of his last season. You know, I thought he was playing some when he was playing. I thought he was playing some of his best football, sort of sitting deep and pinging passes here and everywhere. He has got that, and he has got that about him. And League One, experience-wise, it'd be fine. He'll be fine in there. But it's just a shame because obviously he hasn't got the energy and the legs of Flynn Downs. It's just such a shame. But could have an important part to play.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Chambers at right back.
Look, honestly, mad.
It's 2015.
Christ,
all over again.
Penlock gets injured. We have Ward in there. My God, that'll be that'll bring the average age up a reasonable amount.
Get Johnny Parr on there. Dave, Plymouth should score here. Left wing cross. Camera, the inside forward. Paul Cook was very keen to praise the Ipswich defensive action in this game, but said that the lad probably should have scored the header, the one chance there.
Yeah, the one big chance, ball in, and I don't even think he was unsighted. I can't recall, if someone missed a header in front of him. I don't really think they did. He was sort of on his own and just completely mistimed it and just sort of skimmed off his head and skimmed, probably the yard wide, fair way wide. That was the only chance. A really good ball in, with probably wind assisted a bit, really pinged in, and he should score there. He really should score there. I think Brenner was saying it was perhaps Wilson, or Mick Mills was saying that was Wilson's fault. Yeah, Mick Mills, Wilson's fault. But other than that, again, I thought Wilson and Enciala played really well again.
Craig, comfortable seeing it out?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but we didn't create too much. They didn't create too much second half. It was just a bit of a non-event the second half. I think if Alan Judge had scored that early doors, then I think we'd have seen it out relatively comfortably. Yeah. Even so, I don't think we were under too much pressure. I think if you look at the XG, they were barely 0.5. I don't think, despite having quite a lot of possession after our initial first 20-minute burst. As Rich will point out, Thomas Holy didn't need to dive around too much or make any saves, did he? So, he probably just used the same kit he did after Lincoln match.
I thought Drynan did well when he came on.
Yeah, he looked quick, didn't he, as well? I know he's really got a bit of pace about him, but he did. He set up a couple, didn't he? He played one lovely ball, did he cross field with the outside of his foot.
Jug should have done better there, actually.
Yes. Yeah.
Should have really committed the guy on his left foot and, got it out of his feet and instead he sort of delayed a bit, didn't he? That was really good play. And once or twice he did that, held it up really well. And you're right, showed a surprising turn of pace, I'd say.
There's some underlying numbers there. 54-46 to Plymouth on the possession. Obviously, Ipswich defending a lead for most of the game, so not shock horror there. 11 shots to 6, only 3-2 on target, which plays into what Craig was saying about neither side having much. In terms of the territory, 5 corners to 1. 2 big chances to 1 is always the most revealing one in Town's favour. David, tight-ish game, but...
It was, Ben. What surprised me?
Game state is never reflected in these numbers, is it? Especially when you score early, is it?
Yeah, I mean, what surprised me, and you spoke about him earlier, is Jeff Cott was on the bench, and Jeff got. I mean, you can see what didn't I can't actually see what time.
63.
Okay, so had half an hour, but it didn't. We certainly kept him in arm's length. I can't remember him having much of an impact, barely being mentioned or touched the ball. So that was a bit. I must admit that was a bit of a surprise. But no, I think we saw a lot of. Dare I say, we saw a lot of games similar to this, perhaps under Mick, where we'd score, concede possession, defend deep-ish and just see it out. Yeah, they just weren't. Other than the one chance, they really didn't create a lot. Really didn't create a lot at all. And in fact, for once, we saw out the last sort of, I'd say 5-10 minutes really quite comfortably for us for once.
Nice.
I'm actually intrigued. Sorry, Ben. I'm just intrigued as to whether Paul Cook, in the long run, wants us to play like that. Listening to him, he doesn't, does he? Listening to him, he wants to score one. He then wants to score another and another, and put the game to bed. And then you haven't got to worry about the opposition. But I just wonder, and then we may talk about it later with questions, bits and pieces. Is either it's so ingrained in these players that there's still an element of trepidation. There was a point in time where Jackson had it, and he was breaking free down the right, put the brakes on, knocks it back, it goes back again to NCR. And you think, well, if I'm pulling my hair out watching it on the telly, then I'm damn sure Paul Cook's tearing his hair out, thinking, just bloody go for it, mate. Just have a run, knock it past him, see if we can get another. But so it's going to be a toss. It's going to be a combination of things. Obviously, it's going to be not enough time. No one's got enough time on the training ground to get any ideas across, and these players have just played a certain way for such a long period of time. It's going to take a while to knock it out of them.
I mean, where we are now is just about getting those points in it, get those 3 points, move on. Let's entrench ourselves in the playoffs, and then who the bloody hell knows,
Dave, there's literally there's 2 games, then a week off, and then you've got 11 to go, and then the final 2 games there's a week off. But so by the time you get time to work with the players, there's 2 games left anyway, or you've had 1 week in 2 games time. So
I think it's 1 week coming up. Yeah, you're right. 1 week coming up.
That's
soon.
it.
Yeah,
that's it.
And especially with the amount of travelling we've got to do, they've got even less time, haven't they? If you think you're recovering, you're off today, you're a bit of recovery tomorrow, you're probably travelling tomorrow afternoon to get up to bloody Fleetwood. Yeah.
There is the league table for those of you watching on YouTube. Ipswich are in the playoffs in 6th position, 13 points in the last 6 games. Anyone who knows anything about Dave or my coverage know that Joe Royle once said, if you get 2 points per game, you're looking all right. 2 points per game at any point during the season over any number of games. If you do it over 6 games, you're on a good little run there. Obviously, maybe we need to give Matt Gill some credit for the start of that run. Obviously, 6 games undefeated at home. There's some 0-0s in there. 54 points from 33 games. That's 1.63 points per game. We are projecting 75.27 points. Just to throw it out there, if we were to record 2 points per game for the remainder of the season, 80, which you would think comfortably, possibly be even 4th or 5th rather than even 6th. So the challenge is there, Dave. 13 games to go. Can you get between 20 and 26 points is where we're at, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, for us, it's just going to be the goals, isn't it? It's just going to be getting the goals to achieve that.
Well, look, Dave, can I just read you some totals there? Look, Hull 61, Posh 53, Lincoln 53, Sunderland 51, Doncaster 51, Town 38. And then I'm looking down to Blackpool, who've got less, and then Shrewsbury, who've got less.
But not only that,
then you're down in the bottom 4 with Wigan for.
But of course, not only that. Don't forget, last time we got in the playoffs, we sneaked into the playoffs and goal difference. Well, if you look at our goal difference. I mean, there's certainly a point there, isn't it?
Yeah. It's only plus 5.
It's just I think defensively, Gillingham apart last week. Touch wood, we look reasonably secure now. But it's just creating the chances and. I personally think yesterday. I said that on the WhatsApp. I think Norwood would have perhaps probably been in yesterday and probably had, certainly that first 20 minutes. And there was a couple of times in the second half where I think Jackson got in a good position, put the ball across the box and really inviting air. And you think, that's the sort of place Norwood that's his bread and butter sort of goal. So I think we need to get him fit because he is the one that has got an eye for goal and I think is capable. But that's my only concern really, that we're just not going to score enough goals.
I don't want to be that guy, but 8 playoff appearances, 1 win, is that not a concern as well?
Well, I forgot it. It was so long ago, Ben, I'd forgotten about that.
Sunderland and Pompey are possibly in there as well. Craig, 13. 13 games, projecting 75 points. 75 points may well get us in. But what are your thoughts on this run-in, and as Dave's questioned it, lacking goals and lacking time as well?
It's the goals thing, isn't it? It's not. And again, we'll probably talk about this in a bit. It's not necessarily the strikers, is it? It's the 3-4 guys behind them that's the issue. It's loading the bullets rather than firing them. But again, you'd think that, as we know, the positions of the teams that we have got to play are towards the bottom, and historically we've done okay against those type of teams, even if it is purely because we have got better players than them. At the end of the day, a better quality player, our better quality players produce something, or they did do under Lambert, with no real structure or pattern to play, to bring us out on top in those games. So now that we're there, as Dave said, let's get ourselves entrenched, and if we can get a position or two above where we are at the moment, I don't really see any reason why we shouldn't now with our run-in.
Interesting. So we go to some questions. I think we've answered Andrew's question there about skews. Dave, CFP, Chambo's fist pump. Nice. When's the takeover? Do we need to kind of park the takeover? Is it actually important? Obviously, it's important long run, but short term, the takeover, although it might be a nice news story, will have no tangible short-term effect, will it?
It won't. No. And could it be seen potentially, now we are in the playoffs, now we are in sixth, would it possibly be seen to be, or perhaps become, a slight distraction? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Look, it seems like you hear sort of whispers again, and even one from a local, I think, solicitor last week about land registry and stuff like that, the training ground and land registry searches and all sorts of things going on. So look, seemingly it's going to happen when, God only knows. I don't, who knows?
Absolutely. Craig, let's do that one from H. Do you know any strikers? We're going to need a couple. But seriously, we've talked about goals. Talk to me about specific personnel here, Craig. So Norwood, Parrott could be used up top. Jackson, Hawkins, Drynan.
Hawkins.
Yeah. Well, as I say, as Dave said, out of those, you would say that Norwood's, the most natural goal scorer. But then, as I said, it's not necessarily the goal scorer; it's the guys that are producing the chances for the goal scorers, isn't it? I'm not entirely sure whether, if Paul Cook were given a clean slate, how many of those strikers that we've got he would actually choose to have in his squad. I don't know how many of them fit the bill or fit the Paul Cook blueprint for a central striker. Potentially, it might actually be Hawkins who fits the mould more than the others, just to be that the central. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, for everyone to manoeuvre around. But obviously, you're then reliant on getting an awful lot of goals from out wide, which we don't have. So as I say, it's going to be a combination of everything. It's going to be a combination of getting fit strikers or getting a fit Norwood on the pitch, probably, because despite all Drynan's efforts yesterday, he still doesn't score a lot of goals. Jackson, as the single guy up front, ball bounces off him a little bit, doesn't it, in that role? So if we can, Hawkins, it's gone quiet on Hawkins, really. I don't know if people don't particularly ask the question anymore, but I haven't really heard about when he's due to be back fit and firing. But if he's not, if he's not being spoken about, you wouldn't say he's going to be suddenly appearing and playing for 60 minutes in a match. So yeah, as Dave said, and as the question was there, it's going to be goals that gets us in the playoffs and staying in the playoffs.
Dave, from Jack here, first 20 minutes, proper identity, press high and force mistakes. The question part of it is, do you think our team's fitness needs to improve so we can press for longer period? Is this something that's going to work against us? Because now, in a COVID shortened season with Saturday, Tuesday, every other than 3 weeks, basically now for 13 games, it's just getting through, isn't it? Rather than being really sharp and fit, right?
It is. And it, showed yesterday, you lost another one with Downs, you can't afford, what now? Hate touch wood, it doesn't, but, what happens? You go to Fleetwood Tuesday and Dazelle, Dazelle crocks up with a hamstring or something like that. It's just about keeping these players fit, fresh, match ready, really.
Can you just parlay that into Jules' question, Dave? Just go doomsday on me. Downs is out until the playoffs. What's your solution then in central mid?
Well, you've really got a choice, given that the players are out on, McGavin's out on loan. Obviously, Elmizuni's out, out now for the season anyway. He was out on loan anyway. You're pretty much left with Bishop. You're left with Skews. You're left with, Dazelle, who you would not trust in there, but who are experienced enough really to play in there. So Skews, obviously, at his age, will have to be managed well. I thought, like Craig said, when Bishop came on as obviously, I guess a sort of direct replacement for Downs. We lost a bit yesterday. Downs, I think you can't underestimate. It's going to be a big miss for us, unfortunately. Big miss.
Although, just as you were saying at the beginning, Ben, about keeping people fit, the sheer size of our squad should help us in that regard, shouldn't it? Because, who did we have playing up front? Lincoln, we had Bishop as the 10 and Norwood as the striker. Yesterday, we had a completely different two come in. There's not many teams that will be able to do that, would they? If their star striker got injured, that they'd have, not ready-made replacement, but, another one of a similar standard to come in and play. And you've got Parrott just behind him.
Let's have a look. Dave, sorry, this is Dave. It's a question for Craig. Does Cook have a bigger task altering the mentality rather than the tactics and the playing style? I mean, you already kind of mentioned that about, where'd you go when you're 1-0 up and you don't get the second goal in, etc. Surely that, that's. We're in I'll talk to you in 5 wins time territory where, in terms of confidence, aren't we?
Yeah, but and as Cook said himself, he was asked, wasn't he, about how many transfer windows and a manager needs to start seeing some benefits, and he joked that even what 4 or 8, wasn't it? I think he said, but he said, no, give me one transfer window and one pre-season, yeah. So give him 6 weeks with these guys, and he'll get them into some molded unit that will start doing what he wants them to do. The problem we got is the squad that we've got as the last 3 managers we've had have had completely different. Well, let's not include Hurst because he wasn't here for long enough. But McCarthy's mentality and tactics and style were completely at odds to Paul Lambert's mentality, tactics and style, which are completely at odds to Paul Cook's mentality. And you've still got remnants of McCarthy's squad and players who are still here trying to play the third different, quite striking different type of football to watch, which they were drilled pretty effectively with Mick, weren't they? So it's going to take a while, and as we were saying, he just hasn't got the time at the moment between games to get it in. So and funnily enough, I tweeted into Suffolk after Tuesday's match and asked Mick Mills that exact same question: was how long does a manager need to get his points across and get them actually to start infiltrating into a team? And he said, and he used McCarthy as an example actually at Cardiff, and said, from now to the end of the season, it's going to be more about man management than anything else. It's going to get
just mood as well. Do you know what I mean?
Morale, mood in the camp, and cross the mind. If you're not going to get upbeat and ready to play for Paul Cook, I'm ready to play for Paul Cook.
He does. Yeah, he does get that across really well, doesn't he?
Yeah, and it's just, and that in itself is just a breath of fresh air for everybody concerned, isn't it? I'm actually looking forward to hearing a manager's press conference now, whereas before I'd turn the volume down rather than up.
Interesting. One last one, Dave. Patrick Ewing. We're talking about partnerships. He's mentioning partnerships there. Sorry, Mark, I'm going to hijack your question. Talk to me about Wilson and NCR, because if we've written off Skews a few times, we've certainly written off Toto as many, haven't we, Dave?
They look quite good. I've got to say, for bloody hell, a couple of times Wilson yesterday, strode out with the ball, didn't he? Almost like Wolfenden style, and you think, bloody hell, and used it quite well. Look, NCR.
There's your spare midfielder, Dave.
Well, NCR is okay. NCR is. that's what he says on the tin. Really, he's just he's a bit of a warrior, isn't he? But he's got a mistake in him. Didn't really put a foot wrong. I mean, they didn't really put him under a lot of pressure yesterday. So for me, he's ideal at that. He's ideal at that level. Absolutely ideal at that level.
He's going to have two central midfielders sat in front of him as well.
Yeah. I mean, I know. I know Joe's a big advocate, and quite rightly too. You want to get a ball playing, and probably Cook will want to get a ball playing centre half in there, which you would think potentially is Wolfenden. But I was reading on Twitter today, and a little bit from TWTD, some comments on Wolfenden. Does he really justify his place in the team this season? No, he doesn't. No, I don't think he does. Having said that, a lot of that maybe he was playing alongside, very inexperienced, Mark McGuinness as a pair, and that, let's face it, that really didn't work out. So. No, I think the two of them at the moment are doing pretty well. Yeah.
And also, they're not being asked to do anything out of the ordinary, are they? When they're
not being
defending,
asked to play out from the back, which
exactly.
they can't do.
No, what they're being asked to hit it relatively long. Not they're not whacking it route one, but they're hitting it to the halfway line.
Yeah, Craig, where did the Caden Jackson chance come from in the first half? It was Wilson just diag, wasn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. And even when they're defending, they're not trying anything stupid. They're just clearing it, get it into the stands, get yourself reset and get ready to defend the throw-in.
No problem. Wilson's been an absolute revelation since he's come back into the team. Let's put his goals to one side, but absolutely really, really good.
I think I need to read my Neil Warnock book again. Head it, kick it. Yeah. Head it, kick it. I don't want you messing around. You got to die to win 3 points.
Penalty box. Get it out.
Sheffield United need a manager, don't they? Yeah.
Oh, do they?
Give it. Actually, I'll tell you what I was going to say. I was talking to some.
You're going to reply?
No. I was talking to some Birmingham fans earlier. Need someone to hold the fort to the end of the season. Can't particularly do much. Maybe someone who did this same thing at Stoke City before, who's available. Come in. Be quite quotable in the media. Paul Lambert to Birmingham. No, we'll pour water on that here and now, shall we? Well, Craig's already mentioned this, Dave. Before we get to our back-to-back Paul Cook derbies against Pompey and Wigan, we got these two, and it feels really important to get through these two games and get yourself 4 points, doesn't it? Fleetwood, and we're going to have Richard's do it. Is it Richard and Seb? Does anyone know are either of you on that show on Tuesday? I think it might be Richard and Joe.
Yeah,
anyway,
Richard and Seb last week, wasn't it? Was it? I don't know.
Yeah, it might be Joe. Yeah. So anyway, Richard will be here on Tuesday after the Fleetwood game. Dave, Fleetwood were quite good opponents for us last season, but of course. Joey Barton is no longer there.
I didn't realise they've been on quite a good run. The last 5 games, drew 1-3 on the spin before yesterday. I mean, I didn't quite realise just how, because it just seemed to me that Fleetwood, if someone had asked me, I don't know, a month ago, I'd have said, yeah, Fleetwood they're going to say it. They're thereabouts on the cusp of they're on the cusp of the playoffs, and they must have had a horrific run of form, which I just really fell off my.
I'm going to interrupt you. Because I was doing a stream the other day, and I think it was David, who's an old school Blue Monday listener, referred to Steve Evans as the new romantic, and I'd even forgotten that gag.
I would have forgotten about that, didn't we? Absolutely.
It was so funny, Craig. It's just such comedy gold that it completely forgotten about.
And he's sort of Steve Strange tribute act with the eyeliner.
But yeah, he reminded me. Yeah. Sorry, Dave. Go on. It felt important when I was interrupting you.
Fleetwood have been on a really sort of half decent run, so yeah, they've obviously it's not going to be easy up there on a Tuesday night. Never the easiest, really. So, but you want to go with Portsmouth. We all know Ipswich. Teams having a horrific run. Oh, Ipswich, that's all right. We've got Ipswich at home come Saturday. Soft touch. We'll roll them over and we'll be back up and running again. So, yeah, ideally you want to keep the momentum going with a win at Fleetwood on Tuesday, and then get something from the Pompey away game.
Am I going to be hearing lots of nonsense, Craig, about the mythical new manager bounce when we play Pompey on Saturday? You're gonna couple these games together, Craig? It's got to be 3 or 4 points, hasn't it, across the two?
Yeah, probably yes. But you don't want to lose to Portsmouth, do you? Because to keep them at arm's length, if nothing else. Well, they 2 points behind us at the moment. I don't know who they've got on Tuesday night, but yeah, ideally, crikey, if we can get a win at Fleetwood. But as Dave said, they've been in very good form. I think the last 3 or 4 matches. They may well have beaten Lincoln a couple of games ago. So yeah, but draws don't really get you anything, do they? You do need to try and get a win to get your 2 points per game, Ben. Really, more than anything else. So yeah,
2 points per game, haven't you?
Win Tuesday, draw Saturday, be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be.
Going into that, and then you've got a week. Got a week's break, then, haven't you? So yeah, that would be
which to the players, Dave, must seem like 6 weeks off this season.
On pretty great holiday, crikey. Yeah, it'll be two important games. You're now getting into mid-March. You're now really getting into it, aren't you? Just in a playoff spot. Yeah, just keep that momentum going. Pick up something from Fleetwood. Don't lose to Fleetwood. Ideally, pick up 3 points. Don't lose, and then go to Portsmouth. Still on a bit of a little run, undefeated 3-game run, and just see. They're not.
Dave, you're totally right. You're totally right. I watched a lot of football this weekend. I watched Brentford and I watched Swansea in the Championship. Neither of them played well. Just 1-0 away wins for both of them. And Paul Merson said it on an interview I saw the other week. He said, I won the title twice and we probably played well for about 10 games. Sometimes it was individual quality. The rest of the time, we just churned it out and it was muscle memory. And you're totally right. At this stage of the season, it's slog it out and then maybe you go into tournament mode for 3 games if you, God forbid, a playoff campaign in Blue Monday time.
Oh my word! We just missed the last one, didn't we? Missed the last one.
I'm quite glad we missed the last one.
Oh God, yeah. Can you imagine summarising that semi? Oh my word! No.
2 heartbreak, but there's some absolute playoff losers in here. If we get Ipswich, Sunderland, and Pompey, some terrible playoff teams. Just throw Brentford and Preston. Actually, Derby are just as bad, aren't they? Although Derby had their 8th appearance, didn't they, 2 seasons back to tie us in the Championship. But I think, Reading as well. Reading always lose in the final, don't they?
Pretty awful. Yeah, they win the division by about 110 points, don't they? Score millions of goals, don't they? Yeah, crikey.
I heard before this weekend, I think, because obviously Sunderland played today, didn't they, in the Pizza Cup? They
won.
Yeah,
they won. Yeah.
Someone was saying that in their previous 9 visits to Wembley, they'd only won once. Christ, 9 visits to Wembley.
Yeah,
wow.
And I was at one of those. I was at the 18-19 League One playoff final where they, of course, lost to Charlton, and I suspect that run started also with a defeat to Charlton back in 1998.
Did that constitute the new Wembley? It didn't include the old Wembley when they famously beat Leeds in the cup final, did it?
Oh,
Porterfield 1-0.
Porterfield 1-0. We're really going back there. Lovely stuff. Right, I think that's just about done us. David, you've been chatting with Ipswich Town legend.
I have.
Russell Bloody Osmond. Tell us about it.
I had a lovely chat with Russell Osmond 2 weeks ago now, talking about all things, really talking about his career. Certainly his career at Town, obviously with a bit of a slant. I think the day I spoke to him was the corresponding day 40 years ago of the St Etienne away games. So it was
Did we play St Etienne?
I beg your pardon? Oh, sorry. Did we play?
No, we didn't. Did we?
I think we did. French.
Oh, you'll have to tell me who was playing for them one day, Dave.
I will tell you who was playing for them one day. So he remembered that fondly, and it was absolutely brilliant. However, what I want to say is, and that got pretty good response. Well, what I say is, just before Christmas, coming up to the Portsmouth game this Saturday, I interviewed a proper, I'm not saying Russell Osmond isn't, but a proper Town legend, Ray Crawford, one of the, obviously, Town's record goal scorer. And that's really done, really surprised. What's surprising is, I don't know, done sort of fairly disappointing viewer figures. So just a plea out there, please, not just me, please go and watch that and educate yourselves about the history of our great club. And he was an absolute star in that interview, absolute star.
It's not about the views, Dave. It's the watch minutes and the interaction. Don't you worry about it.
Sorry. Well, yeah, you know what I mean. So, yeah, no, anyone exactly who hasn't listened to that, who appreciates our wonderful club, give that a listen.
There you go. And at David Diamond 3 on Twitter. When did you last send a tweet, Dave? Have you retweeted anything in the last month?
Yeah, I'd always be tweeting, Ben.
Any original tweets?
No, I don't do original tweets. Not going to say. Right, Craig,
we're going to make a challenge now. Dave, is at some point in the next week. So you've got lots of time to be. You're going to do an original tweet. Don't just put "I had avocado on toast for lunch." No one cares.
Now you've got me. Now
Dave, it's Twitter. You've got to do one of three things. You've got to swing your dick around and pretend you're the most intelligent person in the room, argue with someone, or try and be virtuous in some way by taking down somebody else. That's how Twitter works.
I think I could probably manage all three of those, but
but Dave, don't. It's not in your nature.
and also,
you're too nice.
If someone's arguing with you and you're found out to actually probably be on the wrong side of it, for God's sake, just double down.
Keep quadruple. I quadruple down. And what would 8 be? Quadruple. I don't know what.
Octuple down. Yeah.
Octuple down.
Double down.
I'm just imagining like a funk musician imploring the audience to octuple down. It's not working, is it? Craig, where can we find you on Twitter, my friend? Craig Finbow.
Fims75.
What is this?
I just say his name wrong on purpose. There's a very funny clip, Dave, a show I love called Trailer Park Boys. You ever seen Trailer Park Boys, Craig?
No. I've heard of it. Don't watch it, no.
Yeah, it's tremendous. Absolutely, it's very childish. But one of the directors, and we're talking like, or one of the producers or whatever, used to go onto conference calls with proper TV execs and deliberately pronounce people's names wrong and just see what. So, like, he'd say, "Oh, we need to do it like Robert De Niro," and then just wait to see what the reaction is. And I found this very funny and try and do it every now and then. It's quite funny, although I've been saying Ademola Lookman, really pronounced Lookman, on my channel. No one's got annoyed by it, which
that's annoying. That's annoying in itself.
It is annoying. So I do them all now. So when I do Swansea, it's Freddie Woodman and Ademola Lookman, and someone will notice this on my channel now. I've given up my childish games. Anyway, at Benjamin Bloom, you can find me on Twitter, retweeting stuff and arguing with people, which is always good fun. But more importantly, follow the Blue Monday Twitter at Blue Monday ITFC, where you can find all our content. And if you go to YouTube, you can see, I mean, between the three of us, you can see me interview Marcus Stewart and David Johnson, for goodness sake, and Craig, Jason Dazelle, and David. Right, so there we go. We're going to play Dazelle, Stewart, and Crawford. That's our little front three. But they're all on our YouTube channel.
Can we just have Pablo in a sort of like slightly withdrawn role?
You do what you like, Dave. Play 10 up front. Why the hell not? But that's on YouTube, and of course our midweek shows, which are now going to be going down the podcast feed a day removed, will be taking place after all of the midweek games we've got. But to best enjoy the midweek shows, get involved in them live, because you get your comments read out and whatnot. Get involved in the streams. If you do want to support our work, which is now into its, 6 seasons, Dave? I think we're into, you can do so on the support segment on Acast if you're an audio listener, or via Super Chat by YouTube. And we would appreciate that very, very muchly. We have to pay lots of stuff for StreamYard, which is this thing that we're on right now. So that would be wonderful if you did want to support. David, any profound last words, or are you thinking about the tweet that I've now challenged you to put out next week?
I'm now thinking about the tweet, and I'm slightly panicking about it. So, yeah, I'm challenged now. I've got to come up with something brilliant. I'll find something.
Do you know the funny thing? I've known David many, many years, and I'll text him or something on Thursday and go, "So, Dave, that tweet, you're going to put one out?" And he'll go, "Nah, I can't be asked, mate. I'm just not going to do it."
Tweet. I sent I sent a few DMs, to be fair, so I guess that defeats the object, really, doesn't it?
Sliding in there,
Yeah. So, but no, don't worry. I'll come up with something suitable.
You don't have to. I feel like I've bullied you into it now, Dave. I'm feeling a bit guilty.
No, don't, because I felt guilty that I haven't sent any recently.
Oh, the guilt trip, Craig. Any profound, excellent last words before I end this podcast? Actually, make sure you have got some, because I pressed the wrong. Dave and Craig know that it took me 3 goes to work the technology to start the podcast, so I'm going to try and get the end in one go. Any lovely last words, Craig?
No, I just know what I've got. A hashtag for Dave. Hashtag besmirch.
Yeah, besmirch. Alan Judge's good name. Yeah, that'd work.
Merch. You could do like besmirch merchandise. Right. See you later.